This is the Motorola Tundra VA76 LCD screen flip disassembly instructional video brought to you by cellulardr.com. The following tools are required for this repair. Plastic prying tool and a T5 Torx screwdriver. Using a heat gun on the low temperature setting, heat the main inner lens in a circular motion for 10 seconds. Now, using a plastic prying tool, starting at the top of the lens, carefully start to pry the lens away from the flip, working the tool around the lens until it has detached from the adhesive. Perform this task carefully if you plan to reuse the same lens when reassembling the flip. Replacement lenses are available if you damage the lens during removal at cellulardr.com. Using a T5 Torx screwdriver, remove the 6 screws holding the flip together. Once the screws are removed, using a plastic prying tool, pry apart the flip from the top and separate the two pieces, exposing the LCD screen. If you wish to replace the color ID lens on the faceplate, using the heat gun on low setting, heat the lens in a circular motion for 10 seconds. Using a prying tool, carefully push out the color ID lens from the inside. Using a prying tool, lift and detach the flex cable connector from the LCD assembly. Once the connector is detached, carefully pry out the camera from the housing. Using a prying tool, lift the vibrator out of the housing. Be sure to disconnect the plastic connector attached to the board before completely removing it. Using the prying tool, disconnect the plastic connector attaching the wires for the earpiece speaker to the board and gently lift out the rubber piece and the earpiece speaker. Now, carefully push out and remove the LCD assembly from the inner flip housing. Using a prying tool, lift up the connector holding the Color ID flex cable in place and carefully lift the Color ID LCD and direct the cable out of the socket. Now we're going to remove the PCB board from the main LCD screen. Lift up the black latch and carefully slide out the flex cable from the PCB board. Using a heat gun on the low setting, heat the PCB board in a circular motion for 10 seconds. Be careful not to overheat any part too much, causing damage to the components on the board. Now slide the prying tool carefully all around between the PCB board and the LCD screen, slowly separating the two from each other. This concludes the AT&T Motorola Tundra VA76r disassembly video. Purchase your parts at cellulardr.com. Thank you for watching.